Back to the Steve Cochran Show.
So hi to my friend Eric Edelstein, who joins us now.
Good morning.
How are you? This is our song.
Our song?
Yeah.
Remember what we danced to at our wedding?
Exactly. Exactly.
Sorry, I forgot.
I want you to jump in on this with me. You know, you're like me. You get approached by a lot of different organizations, and they're all worthy. But occasionally an organization comes along and you go, wow, that's a good idea I never thought of. And joining us on the phone now, the most valuable person on the planet for Thursday, January 17th, 2019, Robert Carrilla, Executive Director of Your Grateful Nation, retired U.S. Army Colonel and former Deputy Group Commander of the 7th Special Forces Group. Yeah, he's one of those guys. Good morning, Colonel.
Hey, Steve. Good morning. How are you, my friend?
Nice to talk to you again. All right, let's start with the obvious here. Your Special Forces, you guys are a select breed. That's why you have such passion and interest for this, Your Grateful Nation. Tell everybody what Your Grateful Nation is.
Well, thank you, Steve. I appreciate you letting me join you here this morning.
Sure.
What Your Grateful Nation is an organization that is specifically designed to help our elite special operators as they leave the service after defending our nation's interests. When they leave the service and move into the high-performing businesses across America, Your Grateful Nation stands alongside them and works with other senior executives throughout the country to help these guys move from one elite community to another. And so that's what we do, and we have had a great deal of success this past year.
And here's the thing, Eric, that I find fascinating about this, because most people don't know, and why would they? The best trained, the most valuable, the Liam Neeson special set of skills men and women are your special operators. And the special operators, once they are done, come home, and it's good luck. We're taking all that training and all that investment and all that passion for these men and women, and we have them come home, and it's just, well, we hope you find a job, stay in touch. You're talking about an organization that wants to channel those talents into something that not only benefits their life, obviously, because you're segueing them into the business community, but you actually have people in the community who mentor them, right?
That's exactly right, Steve, and it is a crucial part of the success of our program. As much as we want to focus on these young men and women that are leaving these communities like the Navy SEALs and like the Green Berets and the Rangers and the Special Operations Aviation Regiment, these guys also can really benefit by being around senior executives from places like from companies like McDonald's. You know, one of the biggest companies in the whole world. We have executives that come alongside and help them understand what their value is, number one, and number two, how to go and find companies that need their type of value and then align with them. And so that's kind of the magic of Your Grateful Nation.
So far, you've been able to place several dozen special operators in jobs. This process, by the way, you take this very seriously. From the time somebody is taken into the program to the time they actually start working for somebody, it's how long?
Well, Steve, so it is driven at their own pace. What I will tell you is we had our record set just last week. A young man came in and found a great position in 31 days.
Wow.
So that was a wonderful outcome. But at the end of the day, what I would say to you, Steve, is it's much more likely on average of the 146 people we have assisted so far, it's something closer to 8 to 9 months. And so our program is designed to take them from a lack of understanding of the private sector all the way through to the building of a network that enables them to find a good spot. And we do it in places like Chicago and New York and
Sure.
Atlanta and Nashville. So,
how old is the average Special Forces and Special Operators trooper? How old are they when they get out?
So we really have two types of demographics, Steve. As you know, and many of your listeners will know, the Department of Defense has this great pension that is available to folks that complete 20 years. And so that's one break. The other one exists, though, halfway there. So we'll have lots of high-performing young people in the 28 to 32 range that decide they don't want to spend the rest of their or the next 10 years in the service for whatever reason.
Right.
And so those guys are often coming out and going into Fortune 500 companies. And then our second demographic is what we call our senior leaders. These guys are extremely talented as well, but they've had the experience of leading organizations in excess of 5,000 people and projects, in the hundreds of millions. And so they offer a different value set to a different segment of America.
Companies benefit, and the general population benefits by taking advantage of the training and the passion and the talents of these folks when they come home, and aside from the fact that it's obviously the right thing to do. So, Colonel, I salute you. How do we help?
Well, Steve, thank you for saying that. I would ask that for all of your listeners, I know that you are out there and you run companies. I would ask you to look for the special operator. He can add value to your team almost immediately. And so we would ask that you include them in your thoughts as you look for new talent. And then the last thing, Steve, I would say, for some of your listeners, we are going to be holding an event at the University Club of Chicago on the 8th of March. And it's going to be a very exclusive dinner for a very limited amount of people with Rob O'Neill as the keynote. And clearly, Rob O'Neill is the U.S. Navy SEAL who met with Osama bin Laden on a dark night in Pakistan a couple of years ago. That's right. And so we think that often those are some great once-in-a-lifetime experiences. And so if you have folks that are interested in participating in that type of event, we would encourage them to go to yourgratefulnation.org. That's our website. ygn.org, and sign up and spend an evening with us in March.
We will have you back on before then to discuss it again, but as one of our helpful texters points out, thank you for your service, Colonel, and thank you for taking care of our service members. So appreciate you being on.
Well, thank you, Steve. It's a pleasure to be with you, and it was a pleasure to be in the Army. God bless America.
God bless America.
Thanks, Rob. That's great.
Eric, you know what I mean? It's just a cool idea. I never would have thought about that.
I mean, that event sounds awesome.
And it's a job. I mean, think about it. It's an employment agency for the great heroes who come home and don't know where to turn, but don't know how to do a resume, don't know who to talk to.
I mean, it's the old, they're willing to, when in their service, they're willing to sacrifice their lives for this country. And, in many ways, this country sacrifices very little for them when they come home. It's
just dumb.
It's
just like, we'll give you all this training, then we go, hey, thanks.
Yeah, short-sighted.
Hey, drop us a note when you can. Here's our email.
Yeah, but that event on March 8th sounds cool.
Right?
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, well, you want to drive? You want me to drive?
Either way, I thought Sandberg was going to pick us up.
I got you, boys.
Eric Adelstein will talk about politics, and we will talk about things with him, including the mayor's race and other things coming up. And we're going to get to the story about attempt to bribe a pollster when Trump first got in the race, with $13,000 in a blue Walmart bag dropped off by Michael Cohen to a guy running a polling service. And you thought today wouldn't be fun. First, though, breaking the headlines next, 720 WGN.